Good morning, Primary 2. Well, today we shall start with animals in danger. We've talked a lot about this in class, and this is a reading comprehension for you. Today we shall be talking about the Amur leopard, and we must look at pages 80 and 81 in our anthology book. So here's a beautiful drawing, sketch of the Amur leopard. There's a grown-up Amur leopard and some baby cubs. When an Amur leopard is a baby, it's called a cub. Enjoy the following video, which shows how they live in the wild.
An Amur leopard, the rarest cat on Earth. Winter is a difficult time for this hunter. There are no leaves for cover and no young prey animals. This female has the added pressure of having to provide for her one-year-old cub. It will be another 12 months before he'll be able to fend for himself. The bickering vultures have abandoned the carcass. It's a valuable discovery for the leopards. But the cub doesn't share its mother's sense of urgency. The vultures have left behind plenty of good meat, but it's stiff with frost. The mother works to open the hide and make feeding a little easier for her cub. There are only 40 Amur leopards left in the wild. And that number is still falling. The harshness of the winter here hinders their increase in numbers. It takes one of these females longer to raise her young to independence than it does a leopard in Africa. If the mother can sustain her cub for a few more weeks, spring will bring an increase in prey and her task will lighten.
Well, wasn't that a beautiful video showing how they live in the wild? Okay, so animals in danger. Most of the world's animals are under threat of extinction. Today we shall look at the Amur leopard. So in this picture over here, you can see animals which no longer exist. So when an animal becomes extinct, it means they no longer exist. The Amur leopard. Most leopards live in Africa, but the Amur leopard lives in the snowy forests in Russia. They like to live alone and they travel a long way to find food. Their favorite food is wild boar. So a wild boar is like a wild pig. And here's a photo of a wild boar. So what is the problem? The forests where they live are being cut down. So they have no habitat, they have nowhere to live. And hunters are killing them for their fur. So the fur is the skin on their bodies, and which is covered in fur and hair. And they kill them for the fur, to use the fur for coats or carpets. Not nice, is it? So the food that they like to eat is also becoming hard to find. So those are the main problems. How many are left? About 30 animals are left. And where do they live? Well, they live in the Russian Far East. have a good look at this poster I put here, and it gives you some information. It tells you what the Amur is like. The Amur has long legs and long fur to keep them warm in the snow. They live up to 15 years, and it tells you what their favorite food is. Tells you what the threats are. The threats are what are the dangers for Amur leopard, and it's mostly human beings. It's mostly human beings destroying their habitat where they live. Mostly human beings hunting them or eating their food. And it also tells us how these animals are being protected, what they're doing to try to make them survive and reproduce. So how are they being helped? In one area, 20,000 Korean pine trees have been planted. Wild boar love to eat pine nuts, and Amur leopards like to eat wild boar. And in another area, a new national park has been created called Land of the Leopard National Park. Another thing is that if they have a bit of quiet and there's no people in their area, which is what's happening at the moment with the virus we're all going through, well, that will also give them a chance to reproduce and survive. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the reading comprehension today. Tomorrow you'll have another. Bye-bye, class.